Hi, this is Kathy Goodwin, and today we're going to talk about career strategy tip number 5, career change by degrees. Should you get a new degree or certificate to reach your new career, or are you going to be wasting time and money? That's a question I often get. The answer is yes, if you absolutely need a credential. In some fields, it's obvious. If you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or a psychotherapist, you absolutely have to have a credential that almost always involves some type of education. Sometimes the requirement is more subtle, and the key is to decide if it's non-negotiable. You may be able to say, okay, I've had experience, I have related coursework, I've had training, so I don't really need that degree. And sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and get a degree or certificate in your field. You have to research the return on investment, the ROI. That is absolutely critical because you are investing money in most cases, and you are investing time, which is even more valuable. So you have to ask yourself, if I'm going to spend $150,000 on an Ivy League MBA, as I've had clients ask me, the question is, will you get a return? Will you be able to increase your earning power, your value by more than $150,000 over a certain period of your working life? And that may not be the relevant question for you. Maybe you're looking at a way of saying, well, okay, it's like climbing Mount Everest. I have the money and I want to see if I can do it. That's appropriate for your own goals. And you may even want to say, well, you know, the kind of jobs I can get into, I won't increase my earning power, but I'll increase my joy and satisfaction and meaning. So each decision is going to be individual with respect to ROI. Choose a program that your industry respects. I cannot emphasize that enough. If you choose a program because it's convenient, because you live closer, because you can do it long distance, because it's distance ed, because maybe your best friend went there or everyone in your family went there, you're taking a huge risk. A lot of times you can invest in an education, invest in a certificate, and discover that it actually works against you rather than for you. And there are ways to research the respect that you're going to get that we'll talk about in just a few minutes. You want to make sure your program rewards alums who are like you. If you sign up for a program and you discover that people who are 25 years old with 2 years experience increase their earning power and their job opportunities exponentially, that's great if you're 25 years old with 2 years experience. But let's say you're like many of my clients between 35 and 70. In that case, you have quite a bit of experience, and you want to find out if people who graduate from this program or get the certificate actually benefit. In some cases, there are some programs that actually are designed for people with experience where you'll actually benefit from choosing those programs, and you may benefit more than someone who is just out of college and just in a more entry-level position. You want a program that gives you access to a network. Here's why. I went to an MBA school that has an extraordinary network. As a result, I get to go to meetings, I meet people who have similar backgrounds, and I've met people who actually were able to change jobs and change careers through those alumni networks. Alumni networks are a very powerful way to get exposure to a new industry, which is extremely valuable if you're changing careers at a more senior level. So if you go to a program that's maybe distance ed and you don't meet anybody, you're losing a lot of power. I'll give you a quick example. When I was teaching in a program that was by no means an Ivy League program, one woman lost her job a few weeks after joining the program. She sent her resume out to several people in the city, and one of the people she sent it to recognized her name because he was in the same program. He had an opening. She didn't realize it when she sent her resume that she was writing to someone in her program, but he picked her up and picked out her name immediately, hired her, and she ended up getting a job that she really enjoyed. That's the type of contacts that are extremely beneficial, and it's often hard to measure them in dollars and in prestige. So here's where not to get advice. Informational interviews. Now this may surprise you because like all career consultants, I encourage people to go on informational interviews. But what you want from those interviews is information, not advice. If someone says, if I were you, here's what I would do, that's advice, and that's probably not useful. But they may say something like, okay, in the last 6 weeks, I've got 10 resumes from people from X university. And here's what I did. He may say, I tossed them in the wastebasket. Or she may say, I called them up immediately because I know about people from X university. That's information that's useful to you. Enrollment counselors are paid to get you to apply. They're salespeople, whether they're called admissions officers, enrollment counselors, any number of names. The reason is that universities look good when they have a lot of applicants related to the number of students that they actually admit. So let's say our university has 10,000 applications and admits 1,000. That looks a lot better than a university that has 1,500 applications and admits 1,000. So they're going to really want you to apply. Occasionally you'll find someone who will actually give you meaningful advice, but more often they will try to motivate you to send in an application. Employers often are extremely useful, but I would take their advice with a grain of salt because they almost always have an agenda. What you can do is take their advice and triangulate by asking someone else. For example, when I was teaching in an MBA program in the Bay Area, we had a lot of students from big companies and growing companies in the area. One woman who took my marketing class had a PhD in organizational psychology. She wanted to advance in her company, so she asked me, well, okay, I've taken finance, I've taken marketing. Do you have any recommendations for courses I should take next? So I asked her what the circumstances were, and she said, well, my boss keeps telling me I need to take more courses if I want to get promoted. She said, I've taken this, I've taken that. And when I do that, he says, well, you should take more. Clearly, he had an agenda. He was looking for reasons to say no to promoting her. So I asked her, what do you think about that? And she said, I think you're right. So she went back and did some digging and soul searching, and she decided she wasn't going to take any more courses, and she was going to just work within the company or maybe consider getting another job. Where to learn more? Alumni from the program you're applying for will be your very best resource. When I work with clients, we talk about how to interview alums, how to reach them, how to get the straight scoop on what they experienced and whether their program is right for you. But here's the short version. If you talk to a college or university or any educational institution and you say, I want to talk to some alums, and they say, we don't give out that information, then you've got a problem. And I would immediately stop considering that college, university, or institution and just forever, because that is not the appropriate answer. They may not give you the contact information. They may have to be the go-between for you. That's okay. But any university worth its salt has alums who are proud that they went there and are eager to talk to people who would like to join them as alums. Targeted hiring managers. What this means is, let's say you've identified 3 places you want to work. You could try to find out whether they hire people with your kind of educational background, or what you would have if you took X program. For example, and it's easier to do this somewhat in academics, but you can do it in corporate if you try just a few exercises. So this one student that I had wanted to teach in one of 3 universities. He was considering getting a PhD from a university in another state where he could do it long distance, distance ed. When he contacted the 3 universities that he would like to teach in, every single one of them told him, we don't hire from that program. We think it's a crock. We won't take you seriously. That was very useful information. Career consultants and coaches tend to be unbiased. Often when you talk to a career consultant or a coach, they have worked with people like you, and they can tell you firsthand stories of what happened when people with your kind of background went back to school, what they did, what the outcome was. They often have a lot of information about industries and what the different formal and informal requirements are. I know people sometimes balk at the investment of even a single session, but if you think about it, if you can save thousands of dollars by making the right choice and increase your earning opportunities by even more thousands of dollars by making the right choice, this is a significant investment to go back for an education. It's even bigger than a car, because a car you drive for a certain number of years and then you sell or get rid of. That's easy. But an education, affect your working life for a long time. If you make the wrong choice, it can affect your next career and the one after that and the one after that. There are horror stories about public officials who turned up when people dug into their backgrounds. They found they had gotten a degree from a university that was not accredited or or really just didn't have a good reputation, even if it was accredited. And that's a kind of dangerous position. So a good career consultant or coach will be able to help you investigate the reputation of your program that you're considering and make a wise decision. If you'd like to work with me, I do have a background in education as a college professor and a number of different kinds of universities, as well as experience with career changers. You can reach me through my website, midlifecareerstrategy.com. You can also download this ebook that I wrote about choosing a school that won't ruin your career, and some choices do. There are some horror stories, and I have them on that page. You can also work with me one-to-one during a career strategy session, which makes a lot of sense if you'd like to look at the big picture and see where education might or might not fit into your career change, and what might be a better strategy that will get you where you want to go faster with a lot more fun in the long run. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you on a future video. Have a great day, and I want to wish you the very best of luck and success in your career or profession or life, wherever that may take you. Thank you so much for joining me.